Hello friends, and welcome to our official 2024 Q&A. Cue the intro that I just come up with. So I wanted to have a bit more of a cozy vibe this time around. It is nighttime, all my room lights on. I feel like I never film at this time of day, so it was a nice little cozy way to do it. I don't know, running out of words to say. But anyways, before we get started, I'm bothered by that. I need to fix that. Like that's the end. Anyways, before we get into these, I just wanted to say thank you so much for sending all of these questions, for taking the time to think about them and then also write them and send them over. They were way more than I anticipated, honestly. So I truly really appreciate it, not just for following along on this channel and listening to my songs, but then also for taking the time and actually brainstorm questions and thoughts, and it just means the world, and it feels like it's a nice little way for us to connect a little bit at the end of the year, and most importantly for me to thank you for all of your time and support and kindness. I drew up some parameters for this video that are slightly different than last year. I want to make sure that we get through everything. So the first thing is, if a question repeats a lot, I just joined it into one. So I'm not going to answer the same thing multiple times, but like the question that was asked the most was my plans for next year, or like music plans. So that comes at the end of the video. So that's the first thing. Parameter number 2 is, there were some questions that were more like rapid fire style. Like there's not really an elaborate answer to those questions. So because they're shorter and to save time of this video, the length of the video, I actually am writing them down in the description of the video. So there's a question and then my quick rapid fire answer to that question. Number 2. Number 3 is, in order to keep the length of this video somewhat concise, I'm gonna write out each question and then leave it on the screen for just a couple seconds, which is like way too short for you to actually be able to read it. So just pause the video when you get to that part. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to like keep it more, like not crazy long. So that's that. All right, and with that, let's dive in. It is very rare that I would start a song with a chord progression. I would say 95% of my songs are started with melodies that I come up with in my head. Usually it's when I'm like randomly doing things or going about my day, when I'm starting a song. If I'm already working on a song and like I already have parts of it written, then the progression is already there. So I write the melodies over at progression. But if I'm starting with a brand new song, usually the first thing that I'll have from this new song is the melody, not the progression. The only time I would start with a chord progression is if I was trying to write something that was a little bit out of my comfort zone or in a different style. Like a song that I released a few years ago, Love Song. I was trying to make it kind of like Disney-esque, almost like La La Land adjacent. And so what I went is I literally searched up chords that are used in songs in the La La Land soundtrack, and then I wrote over that, because those were not chord progressions that I would intrinsically come up with myself, naturally come up with myself. So that's why I kind of wanted that extra push to force me almost to write a different type of melodies than I normally would. But, oh my god, this video is going to be so long. My answers are so long. Anyways, most of the time it's melodies first. Intermission. I forgot about this. If I forgot to answer your question, or if I did not answer your question fully or to a satisfactory level, please comment below and I'll respond and I'll type it out. But yes, I just remembered that. Let's keep going. I don't think I have a specific style. I love following and being inspired by European girlies, European influencers. I think British girls especially have the type of style that I really enjoy. I don't even know what I would call that. I guess it's whimsical. I don't know. I think that's like the one thing that I try to think about whenever I put together an outfit, is does it have an element of whimsy? You know, I always try to find something that's just a little bit out of the ordinary, or that brings me that tiny little bit of joy with that outfit, I think. But no idea what the style is. Whimsical, that's the style. I'm gonna assume this is asking about like my preference for men, but I would say some of the key qualities that would be important to me are intelligence and kindness. I think those are the two main things that to me are like vital components to look for in a partner. I honestly don't have one, and that's probably something I should be very grateful for, because I was fortunate enough to be able to see a lot of places. There's still a lot I haven't, but I've been to a lot of beautiful places, and I don't think I can pick one. I guess I have a new favorite each year that I visit. But I could say that from this year, I think the most beautiful place that I've seen was probably, what was the name of that town? Wait, Woodstock, Vermont. I went there in the fall, like a mini fall foliage road trip, and it was just one of the most magical towns I've ever seen. It literally looks like a town that was created for a movie set, not for people to actually live and exist in. So Woodstock, Vermont, go Google it. I promise you will not be disappointed. No idea. You know, it's funny, as soon as I read that, I thought about like my great-grandmother or something like that, which I know is like not the common answer to this question, but I would love to meet people who, oh, this is such a morbid question, a morbid answer, but like deceased people from my family, from my lineage that I never got to meet, and hear their stories and how life was like for them, because I think there's so much to learn from our own past and where we come from, and I don't really, like, there's not much I know, so I would love to speak to like someone down my family tree that we never lived at the same time with. Long sentence, I hope that makes sense. What inspired, I guess this means like initially inspired me to make music, but I would say I never specifically woke up one day and was like, oh, I want to make music. It's just, it has always existed as a goal for me. I don't remember, like, ever since I was little, which I know is like such a generic answer, but really, like, ever since I was little, the only thing I ever wanted to do was perform and sing and dance and do music. And they're just kind of like, I don't know how it came about, or maybe it was from watching movies as a little girl or like listening to music. I really have no idea, but there was never anything else ever. Like, it always felt like that was like a calling, or that was within me, and I just went and did it. I don't know. I guess I'm very fortunate in that way, that I knew from the very beginning. My brother is the same way. Like, we both knew what we wanted from whenever we can remember. And then our entire lives were basically just one very long workshop to get in there. So yeah. Just starting out, yes, definitely. And I was really young too. I was just coming out of high school, and I had very, very minimal experience. And at that stage, I think what's most fragile is the fact that you can't discern helpful opinions with unhelpful ones, or like you can't discern when someone is actually making a good point or not. And I guess that's one of the biggest values of experience, is when people talk to you later on in your life or later on in your career, you can immediately kind of sieve out what's relevant and what's not. And because of that, I would say very early on, you should listen to people that you trust the most and who you know have some experience in this. If they hit neither of those points, I think trust yourself. And luckily for us, we have a lot of resources on the internet, so you can always double check information. You know, heck, you can even ask ChatGPT about ideas, and that will be credible information. But when it comes to, and that's just like talking about marketing, promotional stuff. When it comes to the music that you make, the visuals that you make, I don't think you should listen to anyone. I think you should make whatever feels like yourself. Write songs that you would write for yourself, you know, not music that you think people will like or people will enjoy, but write songs as if you were literally just writing a musical for your life. The songs for me that have been the most streamed, the most successful, not really successful, but like streamed, were songs that I wrote for myself. You know, Tuscany, April, those were not songs that sat down and were like, oh, I'm gonna write something that people are gonna think is fun and cool and exciting. No, I wrote them down because I sat down and I wrote them because I thought they would complement my life at the time, or like put into music what I was experiencing at that time. So that should be your main priority, nothing else. It's you. I guess there are two separate things. One is I would love to visit Japan, especially the Japanese countryside. That looks so gorgeous and beautiful. So I would love to experience that. And of course, sure, if there was an opportunity to play music there, that'd be amazing. But I think it'd be really fun to play in my home country of Slovenia, which I guess that's why I'm splitting the answer in half, because, you know, obviously I visited Slovenia, I grew up there, that's where I'm from. But yeah, I think it would be really wholesome to one day get an opportunity to go back and write the music and kind of reconnect with what has made me me, but then also with the new added parts that I received since moving to California. Yeah, I think that'd be really nice. The video that I enjoyed making the most this year are, I think it's Diver. I wanted to say To Tell You the Truth, but Diver technically I made in 2023, so we're gonna go with To Tell You the Truth because that was made in 2024. But I filmed it with my parents on my iPhone, and we went to this little park, national preserve, close to our house. And most of the year it's like really dry and the grass is all like brown and there's no leaves on the trees. But there's a tiny little window during the year, during the rainy season in California, which is like winter, so maybe January through April if you're lucky, where it's all green. And it's this most incredible, luscious, bright green that I've ever seen. It's gorgeous. And so we went there in March, I think, and we filmed everything there. And it was so alive. You could hear birds chirping in the trees. There were cows even grazing. There was a stream that ran, I guess it was even more, how would I say that, like heartwarming for me, because we had been to that park a few months earlier, like maybe in December, when rainy season was just starting, and it was all brown and kind of dull and sad. And it was just so remarkable to see it come to life and appreciate sort of that change in nature and the ability to do that. But then also it was so beautiful. It was a gorgeous day. And yeah, I think because of that, it was the most aesthetically pleasing setting all year, for sure. To be honest, I'm not really good at finding like super new, like up and coming artists, which is ironic because I am one. So, but I would say the ones that I enjoy are probably already, like, you guys probably already know them, so I wouldn't classify them as up and coming. But I love Matilda Mon. She has a great, like something with swimming song. I will look this up. Yes, Matilda Mon, You Look Like You Can't Swim. And then there's another song. I will Google this one too. L'amour, le baguette. So the hook of this song goes, L'amour, le baguette, Paris. I think it's like that. L'amour, le baguette, Paris. Yes, okay. So it's a song from, when even is this from? 2021. And it's from an artist called Stella Jang or Stella Yang. I feel so terrible pronouncing this because it's like the Anja dilemma. Is it J or Y? But Stella, I'm gonna go with Jang. Stella Jang. L'amour, le baguette, Paris. It's a beautiful song. You know what? I'll link it in the description of the video below. I literally just randomly found it. I guess I've heard it in a Instagram reel, and then I looked it up, and it's amazing. Anyways, you should listen to that. It's all in French. Pinterest boards. I'm all about Pinterest boards. I have one for pretty much every music video that I create, or at least I find ideas there and then I create like a separate document with references that I get on Pinterest. But yeah, I think that's the main thing. And this year, what I've started doing, and I think it's been quite beneficial, is I started thinking about how the video would look like as I was still writing and producing the song. And I think it made it easier for me to create a complete experience. So it felt less disjointed, if that makes sense. And I've done that before previously a few times, but I think this year, because there was no specific theme as to how each video should be shot. You know, my only parameter was to put it in that book. So every song will be within a page of a book. That was like the overall structure. But what happens within the video, I wanted to keep it really, really loose, you know, and so it's more easily complemented to the song. And so this year, even like it started with Diver. When I was writing the song and I was producing it, I already envisioned a girl in like this over-the-top princessy dress running down the beach towards the ocean. And then I tried to recreate that in the video. So I think having that image in my head as I was making the song helped to make it feel more connected and more sort of joined together with the video when I was making it and then when it came out. Hopefully. I don't know if you guys see that, but for me, it was that way. I absolutely love my brother. If you guys don't know, I have a little less than 2 years younger brother named Clement. And we've been best friends since forever. I don't know, he's my absolute best friend. I tell him everything, he knows everything about me. He is incredibly intelligent, which is very, very both intimidating, but also incredibly enriching to your life. And he is currently a PhD student at Stanford, and he is working in computer science. Yeah, we've always been super close. We did everything together growing up, and that kind of, I think that really kind of glued us together to where our relationship, we definitely feel more like twins than we do like an older sibling and a younger sibling. So that's been really fun. I'm still consider Ljubljana, the capital of Slovenia, my hometown. And since it's been a while since I was there, and I have so many incredible fond memories of growing up there, I don't think it would be fair for me to give it any dislikes. Maybe the weather. In the winter, it gets really gloomy and sad, and that doesn't happen here in California. But other than that, I don't think I'm entitled to give it any dislikes. But you guys can Google it if you'd like to. The capital of Slovenia, that's where I grew up, and it is so gorgeous and beautiful. It has cobblestone streets, and I think it's so funny. I appreciate it more the older that I get and the longer that I haven't been there. Like the more distance there is between my childhood there and my life now, the more I can appreciate and admire and just kind of see the whole country really in a different lens, and almost makes me rethink a lot of the things about like growing up. I thought it was kind of like lame and boring and small, but now I look back and I'm like, oh, wait a second, that was amazing. It was beautiful. You had mountains and the Mediterranean Sea. It was, yeah, Ljubljana, no bad things. A beautiful, magical city. This is funny because again, I think I'm not answering it quite in the way that was intended, but my dream collaboration is to create like orchestral versions of my songs, to collaborate with like a symphonic orchestra. I would die. That would be incredible. I think that's like one of my top goals in life, is to be able to do something like that. I think that would be so amazing. I just, and I guess that's part of, I guess what it comes from is like my upbringing in Europe and like being used to going to the opera and studying classical music, and it just, that feels like very intertwined with who I am. And so to be able to take these songs and have them played through like with an orchestral arrangement and perform in like that sort of setting as well, that would just be the most incredible thing ever. So fingers crossed, I guess. Not currently, no. I haven't been planning anything because these songs feel like very individual stories that are all focused on one character really. I think this whole entire album will be collaboration less. But I would love to do it in the future, or maybe do like a version of one of the songs as a collab. But to be honest, I haven't really thought about it that much. I've been very focused on like trying to figure out how the album's gonna go and the songs that are gonna be on it. So I haven't given much thought to something like that. But I love that question. I cut some of this question out, but basically the person asking was mentioning how the wonderful illustrator and writer who does all of my covers is Vida Igličar, who is from Slovenia. And then Chris, who plays drums on my songs, is based in Germany. Victor, who plays bass and guitar, is based in Canada. Yoed, who plays strings, is based in Israel. So it's like everyone, it's a very multinational conglomerate of musicians, if you will, and artists. And specifically with Vida and having that connection to my home country of Slovenia has just been the most incredible thing ever. Like in last year's cover of Missing You, we even added in like this not the skyline, but like the castle, the medieval castle that is in the center of Ljubljana, the capital city. So if you guys go back and look at the cover for Missing You last year, one of the frames has like the Ljubljana castle on it. And so it's been so fun, really fun. It's just like, I guess like exciting too, to be able to work with someone back home, and I want to do more of that. Absolutely, I want to connect, because I think Slovenia has so many incredible artists and musicians who are supremely educated and just remarkably skilled, but that don't necessarily always get the opportunities that they deserve. And if in the future I do have the opportunity to be able to bring more on board, nothing would be a greater honor than to do that. Also, Jani Ugrin, he's a photographer, and he's kind of like helping me creative direct everything. He's also from Slovenia. So yeah, more Slovenians, absolutely. Probably potica. It's like a holiday wrap bread dish. I guess I can do like a little photo of it right there. But hopefully that works. I hope I'm good at editing enough to do that. And I'll just like stand right here, sit right here, and maybe the potica is right there. And I'll spill it out. Anja, spill it out right here, maybe. Oh God, if that actually works out when I'm editing, that'll be amazing. Anyways, this thing, you do it for like Easter and Christmas. You have to keep in mind, like, Slovenia is deeply Roman Catholic, so this is very tied to religious events too. But it's like a celebratory dish or dessert, I guess. It's filled with walnuts and rum-soaked raisins, like that's the filling in the middle. But there's a bunch of different variations to that as well that you can do. But it's usually sweet. Most of the time it's sweet. And it takes forever to make. Like, it's a whole day ordeal. So that's why historically, when someone makes potica, it's a big deal. It's like a celebration. And we still do it now. Well, I don't really know the recipe, but I kind of like help my mom. But we do it for Christmas. Sometimes we also do it for Easter, but if it gets too hot already here in the Easter, it feels like too heavy of a dish to eat. In Slovenia, I have to remember, like, by the time Easter rolls around, it's still really cold and gloomy. So it's perfect to eat. But for Christmas, in fact, a few days after I'll be filming this, after I'm filming this right now, which is December 17th, I will very soon be eating a delicious, tasty piece of potica less than a week from today, because Christmas is coming up. Okay, now erase the potica thing, hopefully. Goodbye. And now we are to the next question. Planning outfit of the day. And how do you... And outfits for music videos. This is so repetitive, but Pinterest again. Pinterest and Instagram. Like, one thing that I started doing recently and I found quite helpful, productive, is I'll go to the Instagram page or TikTok of a brand that I have an outfit from. Let's say, like, I've been really into like Lisa Says Gal lately, like this like sweater that I have from them, and I'm trying to figure out an outfit for the day. And so I'll go under their tagged photos, the photos from other users that tagged the brand in, and I get ideas from other people how they styled it. And that's been like really productive. I really enjoy doing that, because you get to see how other people use clothes as a form of expression, clothes or jewelry as a form of expression, and it kind of inspires you to do the same yourself. And for music videos, kind of the same thing, really. And but that more for music videos I usually do through Pinterest more. And most of the time I think of the concept for the video first and then think about outfits. I don't remember I ever started a video idea or like built it around a specific outfit. Maybe I tried to, and then I realized it wasn't a wise thing to do, to build it around one single outfit. So it usually kind of either comes together at the same time or the concept comes first. If you look at my closet, it's like the rainbow. I don't have any color that I would say like, I will never wear this, I'll never wear that. I guess the color that I wear the least is black, but that's literally the absence of color. So I would say that, or even if I do wear black, I'll combine it with another like brighter color. But I think, looking over there now, I think the sections of red, pink, and blue are the most heavily populated. So I would say those are like the primary colors that I kind of tend to gravitate towards the most. But yeah, no color bias here, girl. Anything and everything. Like I said, whimsy goes back to the idea of being whimsical, you know? It's like I want the color palette of my life to be like the color palette of a Disney Pixar animated feature. Wow. I'm just kidding. Let's keep going. probably the location where I shot Diver, which is Sunset State Beach in, I guess it's between Capitola and Santa Cruz in California. I've always loved that beach. Love, love, love it. And mainly because it feels so wild and so untouched and so, it feels like you're really at one with nature there. Because there's like this massive cliff that then opens up to the longest, widest beach and just the ocean. And the ocean is not calm there at all. It's like, it's the Pacific Ocean. It's wild. It like, the waves are slamming on the shore. There's seagulls flying all over, and it just feels like you're completely removed from the rest of the world. And that's where we shot Diver as well. And I think it's probably my favorite location because it's so dramatic and so like feels almost unreal. The beautiful thing about California is it's actually, in its nature, it's quite a lot like Slovenia. And what I mean by that is you get all types of landscapes within one state. You have the more almost like tropical already beach down in San Diego. You have the more wild Pacific Northwest beach up north in California around Mendocino. You have skiing in Tahoe. You have national parks in Yosemite. You have the desert of Palm Springs, and you have Death Valley. You have the Bay Area, which is like centered around tech and basically the leading technology of the world. Then you go to south and you get to LA and you have Hollywood. So there's so many things within one state that is really, really remarkable. But one of my all-time favorite towns or like places in California is Mendocino. It's north from where I live now, which is, I'm currently in San Francisco Bay Area, but Mendocino is even north, a little bit more north, like 2 hours north. And again, it just feels like a village from a Pixar movie where everything is like adorable and cute, and the nature is so lush, and it once again features those dramatic Northern California cliffs with the with right on the ocean. It's an ocean town, oceanside town. And so, yeah, it's beautiful. Mendocino. It really depends on the season, on the mood that I'm in. But some albums that I keep returning to are definitely Being Funny in a Foreign Language by 1975. That's a whole album. And then My 21st Century Blues by Ray, the recorded album, and the version where she did it Royal Albert Hall, like a whole orchestra playing. Those are two incredible ones. And then also any sort of like, I've been really into listening to soundtracks lately, either movie soundtracks or musical theater soundtracks. Like La La Land is another one that I will listen to over and over and over again. Also Begin Again, a movie with Mark Ruffalo and Keira Knightley, has incredible songs. Lost Stars is one of my all-time favorite songs. It's also on that album. And then just soundtracks from like Harry Potter or First Man, which was actually written by the same composer who wrote La La Land, and it's about Neil Armstrong and like his journey to becoming the first man on the moon. And that soundtrack is also amazing. And it's really fascinating because I love listening to how the approach to orchestration and production changes depending on what purpose music serves. I think it was kind of decided for me, or unconsciously decided as I was working. I started out a few years ago and I thought I was going to do like straight up pop, electro pop. And then as I evolved as a person and my view of the world started to change and the things I wanted to write about changed, it all kind of came together to create this, what I would call today is like whimsical pop, but all of it is also inspired by musical theater, definitely. And some of the orchestrate or like the production style that I do is definitely inspired by musical theater. And I would call it music for romanticizing life. I think it still falls into the pop category because of the melodies that I write. But I think the big pivotal moment was during the first COVID lockdown. I had no more songs left and like ready to release. It was just after the release of Really Like You. That was still very like synth pop. And that's when I was like, you know what, maybe I just do something completely different, something that I always wanted to make but I didn't think fit with my style, and that's how Tuscany came about. And I think seeing the reception of that and how it was received, I was really worried that everyone would hate that song. That was like the first and last time that I think I placed that much emotional importance to one song, because it was so different than anything I'd released before, and this was like May of 2020. And I remember vividly like looking at my Spotify that first day, and it was like maybe like 30 streams, and I was like, oh god, this was so stupid, why did I do this? And then a few weeks later, the algorithm picked it up and started like throwing it into people's playlists, like algorithmic playlists, and it just kind of started blowing up from there. But it was, I think, seeing the validation from there and seeing that people actually enjoyed those types of melodies and production, and it didn't feel out of place for me to be doing that kind of thing, it really almost gave me the green light to explore more of that. And then I think this last year I've been really kind of, everything kind of started clicking together, where I'm taking some of that inspiration, taking a lot of musical theater inspiration, but then also keeping all the melodies super concise and pop, and then kind of like merged into this pop for romanticizing life. I don't know, how would you describe it? I honestly don't know. First of all, that's very kind of you to think that I have a lot of fan encounters. I don't. Like ever. But I've been playing a lot of so-far shows, so like these acoustic shows around the Bay Area this year. And it wasn't an in-person encounter, but a girl that went to one of the shows actually listened to my music before coming to the show, and she had just moved to the Bay Area. And she messaged me after the show on Instagram. She was like, oh my gosh, I was listening to your songs before, like from a YouTube video or whatever, and then I saw you perform there, and it was so random, I couldn't believe it. So it wasn't like an official, it was like a fan encounter, but it was someone who knew my music before, like actually, without me telling them, if that makes sense. And that was really cool. That I was like, oh, that's so fun. Like I thought it was really, really cool. And she was super, super sweet. So yeah, I feel like that's one of the only ones. So this has to be my favorite. Okay, so this has like a big hypothetical of me being like known enough for this being a problem. But yes, of course. Are you kidding me? I think giving other people time is the least I can do as an artist, because that's what you guys give me when you listen to my songs, you know? It's like, that is the absolute most precious, most valuable commodity that any of us can have, because we're all running out of time. None of us can get any more. It's impossible to get more. And you still choose to take some of it and spend some of that time listening to my songs. And I think the absolute least thing I could do is give you some of that time back and thank you in person, look in the eyes and say, hey, thank you so much. You're awesome. I really appreciate you. So yes, of course, please do say hi. If that ever does happen, please say hi. It will make me feel very cool. You know what? This is a question that someone asked me at the end of one of my shows. So I was so happy when I saw this one. And yes, I do have a favorite book and I love to talk about it. It is, no, this might surprise you because it has nothing to do with rom-coms or romantic life or anything like that. But The Stand by Stephen King. But it has to be the uncut edition, like the original full length, no cuts, anything. It's like right there. There's like, whoop, right there. I have a bunch of books stored right there. It's a thick one, and I always have it there, and I've reread it like maybe 3 times already. Now, as to why this is my pitch, right? It has everything. It has romance. It has economics. It has geopolitics. It has social studies also. It has action, it has adventure, it has crime, it has science fiction. It literally combines so many elements of so many genres into one massive pièce de résistance, like an Odyssey type of book that is just majestic. I love everything about it. I think it is like so far sprawling that it's almost incomprehensible how a single person could create such a fully defined world. But yes, The Stand by Stephen King, uncut decision, obsessed, love it. I think about that book almost every day. Like there's a scene that I'll think about, or like I'll experience something in life and I'll think about something that happens in The Stand that kind of parallels that. So yeah. Yes, I will be 2025. On to the next question that will complete this question. First of all, iconic question. That's why I wanted to put it at the end, because it was such a great way of phrasing that. But there will be a full official announcement of this on December 30th with like a video and everything. But the bookstore songs will continue in 2025, and a full album called At the Bookstore will be released at the end of next year, so at the end of 2025. In that little trailer that I put together that's dropping on December 30th, I added hints for 3 of the next book songs that are coming up next year. There's like a page for each of the books, so once you're there, once the video comes out, you can pause it on those and see if you can come up with any ideas as to what the hints are. But yes, the bookstore songs are continuing. I have had so much fun thinking about these stories and creating the productions and music videos for the songs, and it really does feel like a much more elaborate project than to just wrap it up after the 6 songs that I did this year. So initially when I came up with the idea for this, which was fall of 2023, I was planning on this to be a 2-year project because I had just done 2 back-to-back 1-year projects. The 12 months where I did basically 1 song every month. It's very intense. And then Hopeless Romantic, which was also 10 songs all in 1 year. And I felt like having more time in between each song would allow me to create better, would allow me to make the songs better, but also the visualizers. And I also felt like when I was pushing out a new song each month, it almost felt like it was stepping onto whatever song that I had just released the month before. Like no song had fully had the ability to really like exist and breathe on its own and to fully be fleshed out. So that's why I decided to do a 2-year project. And that is officially the plan for next year, 2025, at the bookstore album, baby. Yeah, yes. Oh, I love it. Oh, it's gonna be so much fun. Oh yeah. Oh. Anyways, my phone is saying this has been 44 minutes, so I probably should wrap it up. I think hopefully I'll be able to trim this down at least a little bit in editing. But if not, I'm sorry it's so long. Thank you so much for taking the time to write all of these things. Check the description of the video for the rapid fire questions that I didn't answer in this video. And like I said, if there's anything that I missed, I'm so sorry if I did. But if I missed anything, or if I didn't understand your question correctly, or if I didn't answer it the way you were looking to be answered, let me know. Just comment below, and I'll rephrase my answer or add more things on top of it. Also, December 30th. You know what? Let's do another graphic here, maybe. Oh, Anja, when you're editing this, I really hope you know how to do this. Something about December 30th, 2025 announcement. Like that, maybe. I can't see anything that's happening, but Anja, future Anja, I hope you do a good job with this, right? Like something nice like there. And I will see you then with some hints for brand new songs. Thank you again for your time. Thank you for sending all of these over. I hope you have... Oh yeah, I should have said that. Erase that. I hope you and your family have a wonderful holiday season. I hope you get to spend this time of year with the people who mean the most to you. And I hope that you can find a little bit of warmth and a little bit of magic in whatever you experience this season. And then I wish you all of the best in 2025. I hope it's your best year yet, and that you get to fulfill at least one of your lifelong dreams. I don't know why I said that, but I do truly wish that for you. All right, happy holidays. Bye.